Before we get to the main event, I've got to say that Predacon, Ramhorn, and C-Clamp are a solid set of toys on their own. The beast modes are fairly convincing, their robot modes are well articulated for the time, they generally lack the kibble problems of Ironhide, none of them seem to be made of cheap feeling plastic like Prowl, or gold plastic like Silverbolt, but that's hindsight. Lastly, their transformations are all around involved and just work, with the impressive stuff saved for later. They're not perfect, with minor connectivity issues in one form or the other. If I were to rank them separately, they'd all get a silver. C-Clamp might be my favourite for his robot design and posability. Predacon is second, great look but somewhat top-heavy, with Ramhorn last, back-heavy and my least favourite visually. There's not much in it, frankly. If anything, most of my issues with Ramhorn tie into the combined form. And with that, it's time. On the whole, the transformation into Tripredacus is fairly complex. It's slightly easier from Predacon's and C-Clamp's beast modes, but there's still things to do, and it doesn't make a bit of difference where you start with Ramhorn, given the part he plays. Word of caution, C-Clamp's tail plugs into Predacon's back to help stabilize the Gestalt, and the posts are translucent plastic. Need I say more? Right off the bat, if there's one thing I feel Tripredacus has over his rival, it's that each component equally contributes to the combined form, as opposed to one member doing most of the legwork. I mean, that's literally the case with Magnaboss, since Ironhide makes up the legs, and arms, and body frame, and chestplate. Prowl basically curls up into a ball to form the head, Silverbolt wraps around him, and Ironhide wraps around them. As for Tripredacus, Predacon is the upper body, with the wings adding visual flair as they did for the general himself. The center portion of the bug head folds up to form the Gestalt's head. The rostrum makes an imposing horn, and that face is one I'm sure kids see in their dreams. Predacon's robot arms fill in the gap, though they don't peg in anywhere, with the attached bug legs decorating the chest. C-Clamp is the lower body, spine I guess. Despite the huge feet and wide lobster head halves, the legs come off as weedy for such a towering brute. As limbs, they seem better proportioned for C-Clamp than for Tripredacus. Something not in the instructions, but I've seen some people do, is deploy those claw blades like overgrown toenails. Lastly, Ramhorn forms the arms. Instead of splitting into two separate pieces, the figure unfolds across an armature that slides into Predacon's back. While the conversion is clever, the results are questionable. Simply put, they're a mess of Ramhorn's parts, which I guess suits such a monstrous combiner, and the beetle horns and legs on his left arm could pass for a claw. The right arm, not so much, as it's just Ramhorn's long, scrawny arms with his legs dangling above. If these sets of limbs could line up into a 4-digit claw, it'd at least have that going for it. Mind you, given how the rest of Ramhorn's designed, I guess it'd be hard to pull off. While I'm partial to the powerful tribal warrior aesthetic that Magnaboss was seemingly going for, I can also see some more in favour of the chaotic, savage beast that is Tripredacus. I just think they could have pulled it off better. For articulation, you have a ball-jointed neck, the arms swivel back and forth at the shoulders, and just below each shoulder is a joint that's hinged at one end with a swivel opposite. Ramhorn's beast and robot mode joints provide the motion in Tripredacus's arms, consisting of ball and sockets, plus swivels and hinges for the left elbow and claws. Likewise, C-Clamp makes up the leg articulation, ball-jointed hips with a swivel below, hinged knees with a swivel above, and a ball joint mid-calf. Also, the feet and heel spurs hinge separately. Predacon's wings can still be positioned as you wish. No waist swivel due to the combination, but all in all, he's pretty heavily jointed. Hope your copy's still intact, otherwise he might be a floppy mess. The singular weapons merge into a mega missile launcher. It's okay, but not nearly as clever as Magnaboss's sword. When it comes to the two US Beast Wars combiners, I'm all over the place. Conceptually, I prefer Magnaboss. Despite his component toys not being the greatest, the Gestalt is definitely the highlight, and well worth tracking that set down for. If you're willing to risk breakage thanks to Silverbolt's gold plastic. If not, I have to recommend Tripredacus more. For all my minor gripes with the proportions, the unstable chest, as well as Ramhorn's contributions, you could play with Tripredacus and he'll likely still be around in the years to come. And again, the bots who make him up are stronger standalone figures. Overall, this 3-pack gets a silver. If nothing else, both teams should get reissued for just how fun they are. But the vintage Beast Wars line sadly seems to have fizzled out, as the Transformers franchise starts celebrating its 40th anniversary. Hope I'm not late to the party. Wrong team.